Kunlun Mountain, which has suppressed demons for 10,000 years. Let's all peak masters select disciples. On this day, you, the one with the worst aptitude, were chosen by the ninth peak, the one with the strongest spiritual energy. You thought you could rely on the advantages of the ninth peak to reach the pinnacle of life with your senior brothers. But unexpectedly, the powerful ninth peak only accepted you as its disciple. Even disciples from other peaks showed faces as if watching a show. Turns out, although the ninth peak has rich spiritual energy, it has a cave connected to the netherworld. The mountain is filled with netherworld aura. Many talented disciples, affected by this aura, awaken inner demons and are expelled from Kunlun. At this moment, as you leave the ninth peak, Mo Zhangdong, the peak master, watches your back with some melancholy. The ninth peak has special tests for temperament. No one has managed to stay here for 10 years, not even a single disciple. You head towards the gates of Kunlun. Silently recite system sign in at Kunlun gate. Ding, sign in successful. Congratulations to the host. Received gift from the great Tao. Gained Kunlun Heart Sutra technique. The supreme technique of Kunlun. Netherworld heavenly sword. Cultivate the energy of all things. Transform majestic divine power. Ecstatic joy bubbles inside you. The highest Kunlun technique is now in your hands. Just as you're about to return to the ninth peak, two disciples with lightning marks on their faces come right towards you. Isn't this the new disciple from the ninth peak? Already planning to move to another peak? Couldn't even last a day. That's so rare. Not rare anymore? Those who go to the ninth peak usually lack talent. After leaving, it's uncertain if other peaks will accept them. People with average talent rarely stay. Look, he seems to be heading back to the ninth peak. So he's not leaving. It doesn't matter. With that talent, he won't last more than a few days inside. You listen to their words without speaking. Right now, you might be a nobody. But in the future, these people won't even qualify to look up to you. With the sign-in system, they can never catch up. As for staying in the ninth peak for long, laughing at the lack of people, thinking you're safe there forever, you return to the ninth peak. Mo Zhangdong smiles, closes his eyes and continues cultivating. Nothing else happens on the ninth peak, just guarding the netherworld passage. And that's the hardest task in all of Kunlun. Back at your residence, you immediately begin studying the Kunlun Heart Sutra. You are amazed to discover it can actually hide your cultivation. After confirming it's safe, you start practicing the Heart Sutra directly. The moment the energy enters your body, you feel as if even with your eyes closed, you can see countless streams of energy. These energy flows circulate with the Heart Sutra, integrating into your body. Soon your meridians are filled with spiritual energy. The spirit terrace opens the purple mansion. Your body shines with golden light. You observe the 8 extraordinary meridians. I've entered the sect. You open your eyes. In disbelief, the first hurdle in cultivation. Average aptitude takes 100 days. Those with exceptional talent need a whole month. You did nothing. Just practiced the Kunlun Heart Sutra and got in overnight. If you tell others, it would be shocking. This is the value of Kunlun's Supreme Heart Sutra. You soon realize the Kunlun Heart Sutra comes with a haze, conceals your fate, so others can't see clearly. Your cultivation. It truly suits me. A silent night. Early the next morning, you respectfully request an audience with your master at the ninth peak summit. Mo Zhangdong opens his eyes and looks at you. With relief says, looks like you've prepared yourself to stay on the ninth peak. On the first night at the ninth peak, many disciples see inner demons. Managing to endure is impressive. Inner demon? You're surprised. You felt nothing last night. Then realize it's due to the Kunlun Heart Sutra. Cultivate the energy of all things. Transform majestic divine power. How could evil approach? Netherworld aura doesn't harm you at all. Yes, master. I will stay at the ninth peak. One day as a teacher. A lifetime as a father. You answer firmly. There's no need. You won't leave Kunlun Mountain lightly. Master, you will rely on them. To become the strongest? Mo Zhentong is briefly stunned. Then calmly says, let's go. I'll take you to see the netherworld entrance. I'll also teach you the entry-level method. His tone is calm, but he can't hide the joy in his eyes. You arrive at the back of the mountain. You feel the cold, Dark aura stimulates negative emotions. You reach a conclusion. No wonder they say, it's hard to stay here long. People easily fall into madness. But this aura is useless to you. Kunlun Heart Sutra cultivates the energy of all things. Netherworld aura is also included. A curtain of light envelops you, blocking out netherworld aura. Mo Zhangdong says, the netherworld aura here is intense. Without cultivation, prolonged exposure is too much burden for your body. You thank your master, but you know you'll be fine. You see a massive cave. Dark aura is visible to the naked eye inside. Let me take you inside. Mo Zhangdong leads you deeper into the cave. Just as you enter, the system voice rings out. Ding! Discovered the Great Dao Veins. Available for long-term sign-in. There's actually a Great Dao Vein here. You are surprised and delighted. Finally found a long-term sign-in spot. And it's right behind the 9th peak. This is your blessing. You reach the cave's interior and see a well. All the dark aura comes from it. Netherworld entrance cannot be looked at directly. When you become immortal, you may take a look. It'll be a great help to you. For now, don't look. Mo Zhangdong says seriously. After you nod, Mo Zhangdong lightly touches your forehead. A flood of information rushes into your mind. Its technique and spells. Kunlun Key Building Method and Tranquility Mantra. Kunlun Key Building Method is similar to Kunlun Heart Sutra, but nowhere near as good. Tranquility Mantra helps focus and calm the mind. Mo Zhangdong withdraws his hand. Normal disciples practice ordinary key building methods, but I teach you Kunlun's best key building method. Remember, never share it. Tranquility Mantra will help reduce netherworld influence. If you can handle it, stay near the netherworld cave. Training will go faster, but only if you're confident. If you practice at the back mountain, come to me every few days for a checkup to prevent inner demons. You immediately remember your master's teachings. What makes you happiest is, you can freely come here. As long as there's no inner demon, that means you can sign in often. What rewards will signing in at the Great Dao Vein bring? You are full of anticipation. That night, you return to the entrance of the Netherworld cave. Ding! The Great Dao Veins are available for long-term sign-ins. Would you like to sign in? You silently recite the system sign-in. Ding! Sign-in successful. Congratulations, host. You've received a gift from the Great Dao Veins. You've acquired the Celestial Creation Dao Codex. The Dao Codex, Celestial Creation. It contains the transformations of heaven and earth, as well as the mysteries of space and all things. The changes of the Great Dao. Endlessly marvelous. Once used, it lasts for 3 months. Full of curiosity and surprise, you decide to use the Dao Codex. The Dao Codex transforms into a mass in your mind. It instantly envelops you completely. You feel yourself sitting high above the sky, watching the evolution of heaven and earth, witnessing the progression of all things. Clouds gather and disperse. Your soul is deeply shaken, as if viewing 3,000 worlds. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth surges into you as the center, gathering with every breath, breathing in sync with the world itself. Your cultivation follows the day and night cycles. All things continue their cycle of life and death. This state lasts for a very long time. When your mind finally feels fully refreshed, you open your eyes. You are still sitting in the Netherworld cave, but you sense a powerful energy circulating within you. You carefully perceive it, and are stunned to find that your cultivation has dramatically changed. Key refining is now complete. You can hardly believe it. Most people take 100 days just to get started. It can take years to fully refine Key. Yet you achieved completion in the blink of an eye. The power of the Dao Codex is beyond imagination. The Dao Codex can be used for 3 more months, but its initial terrifying power is gone. You are not greedy. 3 months is enough for you to reach foundation establishment. You know the Dao Codex is extremely rare, and the higher your cultivation, the better the effect. But for now, having the power to protect yourself is more crucial. You leave the Netherworld cave. Dawn has just broken. It felt like just a moment to you, showing the mysterious flow of time in the Dao Codex. There are deeper mysteries as well. You calmly cultivate on the 9th peak. It's peaceful and deserted. You only occasionally clean the hall with the system. You sign in at the hall of the 9th peak. Ding! Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You've received a gift from the Great Dao Veins. You've acquired the 9 Oxen Power spell. At its peak, the 9 Oxen Power spell can shatter mountains and break seas with a single punch. This is very practical. Learning it with the proper attack power, you feel strength surging within you. You throw a punch, much stronger than before, even with spiritual energy added. And this is just the power of 1 ox. 6 months later, you awaken from the netherworld cave. The energy absorbed 3 months ago at the grave is now gone. The subsequent effects are less than expected. But it still allowed your cultivation to reach mid-foundation establishment. Plus the pills you receive from sign-in, you've entered late foundation establishment, just 1 step away from forming your golden core, which should be a milestone for any cultivator. But in Kunlun, it's nothing special. But once you're listed, you stand out among your peers. Even some direct disciples are only at the golden core level. During the past 6 months, you never left the 9th peak. Every day you only signed in at the Netherworld Cave Mansion. This is the 9th peak's only great Dao vein. You've received many pills and treasures. Cleansing pill, foundation pill, true essence pill, heavenly snow pill, and the gravity technique. Immovable king incantation. Yin-yang sword art. Ziwei sword. Trapping immortal rope, and more. Among these, the immovable king incantation is especially important. It stabilized your mind as your cultivation skyrocketed. Balancing power and stars is critically important. You step out of the Netherworld cave,
heading to the summit of 9th Peak.
Today is the day your master checks your spirit. This check has never been missed in recent months. On the surface, your cultivation is only at key refining stage 2, just a bit faster than ordinary disciples. But your master wholeheartedly cultivates you. You lack for nothing in terms of pills. He even personally tempers your body. You feel deeply grateful. Even if you become invincible in the world someday, you will always protect everything your master told you to guard. Master, your disciple is here for the spirit check. You respectfully stand behind Mo Zhengdong. He turns and looks at you with great satisfaction. You are his most outstanding disciple, diligent and earnest, able to withstand corruption. Mo Zhengdong touches your forehead with 1 finger and softly says there's no problem. Even the nether aura is difficult to harm you. From now on, once a month is enough for spirit checks. Yes, master, you nod. By the way, go to the Kunlun Grand Hall. Today, outstanding disciples from each peak collect magical treasures. Go and receive yours. Mo Zhengdong speaks gently. Outstanding disciples. You're a bit confused. Are you really outstanding among 9th Peak's disciples? Mo Zhengdong asks in return. You're the only disciple on the 9th Peak. Isn't it up to them to decide if you're outstanding or not? Yes, master. I'll go right away. You bow your head and answer. You haven't checked in today yet. So you decide to sign in at the Kunlun Grand Hall. The Kunlun Grand Hall is independent from the 9 peaks, magnificent like a fairyland. All outstanding disciples from every peak are gathered inside. All are at least foundation establishment. There's even 1 golden core expert. A key refining stage 2 cultivator really stands out. You silently stand in the back, but can't always stay low-key. Disciples from each peak step into your respective areas. A middle-aged man's voice rings out. 9 beams of light descend. They're marked by numbers. Anyone representing the 9th peak this time? Heard there is, but the slot is usually vacant on the 9th peak. Isn't key refining stage 2 pretty low? He's standing there. Must be under a lot of pressure, right? You listen to the chatter around you, but feel no pressure at all. You simply don't care about these remarks. Listening to the system's prompt. Ding. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You've received a gift from the great Dao veins. You've acquired the divine ability 1-page ledger. 1-page ledger. It conceals destiny from above and hides you from all living beings below. 1-page ledger. Mount Tai cannot be seen. 1-page ledger. You instantly understand the meaning. This is exactly what you need, able to obscure fate and hide you from others' perception, so you won't expose your hand at critical moments, giving you the edge in a confrontation. Such a divine ability is unmatched by ordinary spells. All disciples begin. How many magical treasures you get depends on your stars. The middle-aged man is obviously speaking to you. You're the only one from the 9th peak. It's nearly impossible to take them all. You see there are only 5 magic treasures ahead. You're curious how many stars you have and want to see how many you can take. You step forward. The first treasure falls into your hand automatically. A key refining level 70 sword. It's useless to you, but there's no reason not to take it. The first item is given unconditionally. Any more require a certain number of stars. Remember, only take what you can handle. The middle-aged man kindly reminds you. You bow your head in thanks. Yet you still want to continue. The others are watching just for fun. Mo Zhengdong is also watching from afar. If only my talent were a bit better. Mo Zhengdong shook his head immediately. You're being greedy, too greedy. It's enough, more than enough. Inside the Kunlun Grand Hall, you head toward the second artifact. The elder in charge stares and frowns. Few disciples of the ninth peak can ever obtain a second one. Yet a beam of light bursts from your body. The second artifact. A pair of boots gently lands in your hands. You got the second one. Just surprised. Other disciples are caught off guard too. To think you got the second one so easily. Is this guy an idiot? To have so little inner demon on the ninth peak. Guess it's just luck. Looks like he's going for the third one. He really doesn't get it. Know when to stop. The second one is easy. The third is 10 times harder. Forget it. The second one should be where the inner demon takes over. See those 3 floating treasures above. Frowning slightly. Taking the second meant nothing. Can't test the stars. This is a rare opportunity. You close your eyes. Spirit connects with the remaining 3 artifacts. Enduring them all at once. Only then can you sense the flaws in the stars. Everyone is watching you. Seeing you raise your foot but not stepping down. Can't go any farther. Looks like I overestimated myself. Why bother? Getting 2 is already impressive. So reckless. Really asking for trouble. You sense the 3 artifacts. A storm sweeps through your mind. Arrogance, anger, greed, and lust well up. The most obvious is arrogance. Because of the system, you surpass everyone else. But too much arrogance turns into conceit. You need to see yourself clearly. The middle-aged steward senses something wrong. With a wave, a force passes over the artifacts. Everyone sees beams of light from the 3 treasures connect to you, as if becoming stumbling blocks. How can this be? The steward is in disbelief. He's actually trying to take all 3 at once. 3, is he crazy? Just stubbornness from the weak. But then someone exclaims, "No, look." He's about to step down. Your foot slowly lowers. Light blooms across the artifacts. That's a sign of success. He's really about to do it. The middle-aged steward is in utter disbelief. Your step lands. Golden light radiates out. 3 artifacts fall before you in unison. A shame with such temperament. But with average talent, the steward sighs. Maybe that's how. You can stay on the ninth peak. You get 5 artifacts. A spirit sword. A pair of summit boots. A seal box. A set of soft armor. And a storage red gourd. You don't look them over. You leave directly. Discussion buzzes behind you. Great wilderness world. If you can't become immortal, what's the point of good temperament? Everyone comes to terms with it. He really does lack talent. Even if you have a great temperament, it's only that, facing an insurmountable gap. You seem a bit calmer. You pay them no mind. And quickly head down the mountain, deciding to visit your master first. Then go cultivate in the nether cave. Even with the sign-in system, doing nothing is a waste. In the woods below the mountain, you hear fierce bursts of power in the distance. Shameless Kunlun will never let you go. A pleasant female voice rises. You only take a glance, then turn to leave. Such powerful force. Her cultivation isn't any weaker than yours. This kind of fight, you have no intention of getting involved. You only look like you're at key gathering stage 2. You decide to take a detour. Night falls quickly. You circle around for a long time, thinking you must be far away from them by now. And almost at the 9th peak, boom, another loud explosion. A figure comes flying from the distance and crashes into a tree trunk. It's a woman. You traitors. Her voice is low. Turns out she's the one from before. The fight has come your way. You feel like you've been discovered. The sky is growing dim. She looks at you warily. Who are you? You don't answer, nor do you plan to stay. You suppress your aura. If she knows you're only at key gathering stage 2, getting away would be even harder. Just about to leave, 2 figures approach quickly. Standing in the moonlight, their faces revealed. Both men have lightning marks under their eyes. You recognize them. 6 months ago, you saw them at the Kunlun main gate. Even bet on how long you'd last on the 9th peak. Fellow cultivator, help us capture this woman. She's a spy, one man declares righteously. Fellow cultivator, don't listen to their nonsense. They're the real spies. You should leave. These two will try to kill you. The woman says urgently. You respond calmly. I'm just passing through. I don't want to get involved in your business. Oh, we can all mind our own business. With that, you go to leave. It's a complicated situation. That woman's cultivation is very high. 4 times artifact suppression. Who's the spy? Who's the traitor? You don't want to deal with any of them. Be careful, this woman can use charm techniques. Let me block her for you. You find a way to get help. One man charges at you. He closes in fast. In the darkness, he sees your face clearly and is stunned for a moment, then bursts out laughing. So, it's you. I'm just passing by. You frown, having been recognized. Things just got complicated. The man approaches quickly. Ki surges from his peak foundation realm. You're right, you're passing by. But your mistake is knowing too much. Whoosh, energy shoots toward you. The woman is shocked. They're really going to silence me. This man can't be that strong. Otherwise, those two wouldn't act so brazenly. If he'd known you knew so much so soon, he wouldn't involve those two. He'd have you run right away. He could still make it to Kunlun. Someone else would notice. Boom! A loud crash. Everything falls silent. The woman sighs in her heart. Run into a fellow sectmate. Only to see him killed just like that. How is that possible? The woman suddenly hears another terrified voice. He looks at you, confused. At that moment, his pupils shrink sharply. He attacked your vital points. Half his body is shattered. His body dissolves. You did that? How did you do it? You withdraw your fist and turn your gaze to the other man. When you exert the strength of 3 wild oxen, half a year of cultivation results. The power far exceeded expectations. Fellow cultivator, this is a misunderstanding. We have no intention of being your enemy. The remaining man's face was full of wariness, as if he feared you'd suddenly kill. Because I know too much. You spoke calmly. Since they want to kill you, you needn't hold back. The wildlands world, Colin can't dominate alone. With such strength, fellow cultivator, it's wise to leave yourself a way out. Besides, you only know a little. Not much, it's a misunderstanding. The man watched as you approached. His voice was trembling. Leave a way out. You suddenly asked? Yes, leave yourself a way out. I can guide you, fellow cultivator. Boom before he finished. You were already in front of him. One punch, half his body vanished. He saw your face. Incredulous. It's actually you. That's impossible. He collapsed on the ground. Life ended. You didn't care. It was just a little trick to distract him. With any enemy, you can never let your guard down. You didn't stay. Didn't even glance at the woman. You simply left. Wait. Ao Longyu hurriedly called out. But you ignored him and disappeared into the night. Ao Longyu watched your receding figure. Incredulous. So powerful and calm. Who is this person? He's not here to kill me.
He recalled that overwhelming punch.
Heart pounding with fear. He thought maybe he'd seen you before. Those 2 traitors clearly underestimated him. Hey. Ao Longyu struggled to get up. Just who was that elder? Or which senior brother? Back at the 9th peak, you handed 5 magic treasures to Mo Zhangdong. He froze, asking, You got all 5? He couldn't believe it. 3 is normal, but 5 is beyond imagination. Yes, master. 5 in total. I brought them all back. You said quietly. What if there were 6? Mo Zhangdong asked instinctively. Are you saying just take however many there are? Master, you also know magic treasures aren't easy to obtain. You bowed your head and spoke softly. You're not sure you could get a 6th. Not strong enough. The stars can't match overly strong power. Keep these treasures. And this too. Some records and knowledge about the treasures. You should familiarize yourself with it. Mo Zhangdong handed you a book. The book is in the 9th Peak's library. You can read and borrow it freely. He was very generous with you, hoping you'd stay at the 9th Peak, maybe even become its successor. But it's just too difficult. Without immortality, it's impossible to guard the Ghost Gate entrance. Thank you, Master. You accepted the books and treasures and headed to the mountains back. You've basically been living here lately. In the Nether Cave, you read the treasure compendium. Soon you learned about the 5 treasures. The spirit sword usually enhances Gale blood, can speed up sealing. The box is useful in special circumstances. Soft armor is a defensive treasure. The red gourd is a storage treasure. Storage treasures aren't common in the wildlands. You've never received one, even with the sign-in system. Not bad, they're useful. You put the treasures away. Although the red gourd isn't for killing, it's quite practical. You stopped obsessing over the treasures and began preparing for forming your core. Core formation is your first major power breakthrough. Its importance is self-evident. You hope to sign in for something useful during this period. To help you form a golden core, you prayed inside, then closed your eyes to cultivate. Before formal training, you need to learn concealment leaf. It was only because it was dark today that you weren't found. With it, you can hide your tracks. You've handled 2 people. Sooner or later, Kunlun and their backers will come for you. Concealment leaf curtains the heavenly secrets. It's crucial for you. In a cave on the 3rd peak, the woman in the white fairy dress, Ao Longyu, sat cross-legged. Her delicate features were flawless. She was injured. Most importantly, she had a treasure that suppressed her cultivation. She needed secluded training to refine it. Her teacher had already intervened, and those people's intentions should be discovered soon. But Ao Longyu's mind flashed back to your image. You were just too strange. He can't find any information on you. Seems he'll have to ask his master for a divination to see who you really are. The strength of the wild ox. No wonder it was so terrifying. He still remembered how your punch crushed everything. Ao Longyu closed his eyes. Once the treasure is refined, he'll try to calculate your origin. If you have hidden motives, he'll have to make other plans. After all, you saved him.
Even if it was just by chance.
3 more years quickly passed. In the Nether Cave, you gazed at the golden essence pill in your hand and let out a slow breath. Whether you form a golden core comes down to this moment. The past 3 years, you devoted all your time to training and expanding your knowledge. Even with the sign-in system, you never slacked for a second. At this stage, others might still be preparing for foundation building. But you've already reached the brink of core formation. You swallowed the golden essence pill, circulated the Kunlun Heart Sutra. Spiritual energy rushed in madly from all directions. Even nether ki surged into your body. But no matter what enters you, it's all transformed into your power. The sea of clouds in your danshin churned. A vortex condensed. A speck of golden light appeared in the center of the vortex, then quickly expanded, engulfing the entire cloud sea. A long time later, a golden core hovered within your danshin. You felt a weight lift from your mind. The golden core power spread throughout your body. You felt your strength intensify in waves. Even your stalled 9 ox power loosened, soaring instantly to 4 ox power. 9 steps of heaven's path also improved further, at least in the core formation stage. You believe no one can surpass your speed. You opened your eyes, spread out your hand, feeling that completely different power inside you. Your golden core is complete. The next step is forming your spirit. After the golden core comes the divine soul. That's a transformation of the spirit. Once your divine soul is formed, even if your physical body is injured, you won't lose your life completely. Only after reaching this level are you truly qualified to pursue the immortal path. But you're not in a hurry. Rushing was never your way. Over the years, your master checked on you less and less. Not because he doesn't care. It's because you've never had any problems. He looks at you with increasing satisfaction. 3.5 years pass. On the surface, you've kept your cultivation level suppressed. Key refinement perfection. It's just about time to prepare for foundation establishment. And you've long since discovered that the rewards from the Tao are tied to your cultivation level. The higher your cultivation, the better the rewards usually are. It's just that items as extraordinary as the Tao Canon haven't appeared since then. Thinking of this, you leave the Nether Cave and head to the peak of the 9th summit. Your master, Mo Zhengdong, turns to look at you. There's a smile on his face. Looks like you've reached key refinement perfection. Thanks to your guidance, master. You lower your head and reply, "It's because you worked hard enough?" Mo Zhengdong waves his hand dismissively, then goes straight to the point. The reason I called you here is to have you go with the other disciples from the various peaks to a secret realm. Entering the secret realm for training will help you with your foundation establishment. At the mention of the secret realm, you immediately have some thoughts. A secret realm means a new location, new sign-in points, maybe even crossing paths with a great Dao vein. Mo Zhengdong continues to explain. Kunlun has 7 secret realms. They're distributed from the 2nd peak to the 8th peak. This time you'll be going to the secret realm on the 3rd peak. It's the most suitable one for breaking through. You nod, but can't help asking. If peaks 2 through 8 all have secret realms, then what does our 9th peak have? Mo Zhengdong looks at you, smiling without answering. You immediately understand. The 9th peak has the nether path. You casually ask about the 1st peak too. But Mo Zhengdong doesn't say much more. He only says that when your cultivation gets higher, you'll naturally find out. Right before you leave, his expression grows serious. This time, you might have the lowest cultivation level. Once inside, your cultivation will really be tested. Don't act recklessly. Understood, Master. Of course, you wouldn't take it lightly. When you're alone, you're able to relax a little. But with more people, you become even more cautious. You have too many secrets. If someone sees through you, you'll be toast. After making simple preparations back at your place, you hang your red gourd around your waist and go straight to the 3rd peak. There are many female disciples on the 3rd peak. While you walk your way up, you're stopped at the entrance by 2 young fairies. It's only after you show your identity badge from the 9th peak that they let you through. Though their eyes are filled with surprise, there's actually someone from the 9th peak? I thought the 9th peak couldn't keep any disciples. You ignore them and head all the way to a small plaza halfway up the mountain. There are already 7 or 8 people standing there, men and women both. The lowest cultivation is foundation establishment perfection. The strongest ones are at the golden core stage as well. Your presence at key refinement perfection makes you stand out. Junior brother, whose disciple are you? A young man in white takes the initiative to ask. 9th peak, Jiangnan. Oh, so you're from the 9th peak. He looks a bit surprised, then quickly assigns you to a team. This team is led by senior sister Ao. You follow his direction and look over, and catch sight of the team leader. A blue and white dress, delicate features, a cold and aloof temperament. Standing there, she seems to show almost no emotion. Ao Longyu, you glance at her. A thought flashed through your mind. Could the dragon really be related to the dragon clan? But you were just speculating. You didn't intend to ask. At that moment, a rough-looking young man with short hair next to you suddenly nudged you. He gave you a mischievous grin. Junior, I heard you got 5 magical treasures 3 years ago. That red gourd is a storage artifact, right? You're pretty weak. If you go in, you'll probably get into trouble. Why not lend it to us for now? We'll keep it safe for you. You turned to glance at him. Late-stage foundation establishment. You instantly made your assessment. 1 strong punch would be enough to deal with him. You stayed silent, but in the next moment, a flash of cold light appeared in front of you. A sword's light pointed directly across. That young man's blue sword aura was icy and intimidating. Junior Xingzhao. Ao Longyu's voice was crisp and cold. If this junior's red gourd goes missing in the secret realm, I'll assume you picked it up. Xingzhao's face fell at this. But in the end, he didn't dare talk back. He just snorted coldly. You looked at Ao Longyu in mild surprise. But he had already sheathed his sword and turned away, as if he'd casually handled a small matter. No one else seemed surprised. Apparently, this is how he usually acts. You felt slightly moved inside. Or maybe he just protects his juniors. Either way, you made a note of it. Soon, the group arrived at the secret realm. Before the entrance, Ao Longyu and Dan Shang spoke up. Once you go inside, I won't interfere too much, but don't stray too far from me. If you run into danger, at least you can come toward me. You can stay in the secret realm from 7 days to a month. Manage your own time. You stood at the back of the group, listening quietly. Clearly, you're not the only team entering this time. Spots are limited. Anyone sent in is at least late-stage foundation establishment. You're only at late-stage key refining, but you're here. Entirely thanks to the 9th peak's special privileges. Just follow behind me. When Ao Longyu guides you into the secret realm, You'll pass through a passageway. Don't move around in the storm. If you're afraid, just close your eyes. You stepped onto the altar along with everyone else. A faint light enveloped you all. It was Ao Longyu's power. The next instant, you felt a spatial pull. A storm raged through the passage. In a daze, you saw the shadow of a dragon coiling around the group. So it really is the dragon clan? Your heart stirred slightly. Soon your feet landed solidly again. You found yourselves at the foot of a huge mountain. The peak towered above. Auspicious clouds seemed to hang over the summit. You could tell at a glance this was no ordinary place. You only glanced briefly before making up your mind, whether it's for signing in or seeking an opportunity to break through. It's definitely worth going to the summit. After landing, Ao Longyu immediately sat cross-legged on the ground. I'll stay right here. You can act as you wish. If anything happens within my perception range, I'll step in. If it's beyond my range, you're on your own. With that, he closed his eyes and said no more. The others obviously were used to this routine. They quickly went their separate ways. Before leaving, Xingzhao shot you a deliberate grin. The third seal's secret realm isn't safe at all. I advise you not to leave Senior Sister A's perception range. Otherwise, you might die without even knowing it. You glanced at him, lowered your head to thank him, then turned and left. Such strong mentality? He's just too scared to speak up. Xingzhao sneered as he left. You ignored him. Ever since those two disciples with lightning tattoos showed up 3 years ago, you've known that fellow disciples aren't always on your side. So you move faster, but remained low-key, silently heading up the mountain path. Halfway up the mountain, you glanced back and checked your senses. You were just about out of Ao Longyu's sensing range, which is perfect, since if you really wanted to seek a breakthrough, or go to the summit to sign in, staying under his nose would only make it more difficult. On the way up, you used your accumulated knowledge to avoid danger, kept fighting to a minimum, and didn't reveal your true strength. Night was falling. You just avoided a tiger-shaped monster. When you suddenly felt like you were being watched, that gaze looked at you like prey. Even from a distance, it was clear. Using some kind of medium to track me, without breaking your stride. You already had a plan in mind. Somebody's coming, and they don't mean well. Meanwhile, Xingzhao was sitting in a tree with a twin pupil snake wrapped around him. With the spirit beast's innate abilities, he could see your location clearly. Last time, Ao Longyu escaped 3 years ago. This time, let's see how he gets away. He licked his lips. A lightning mark flashed beneath his eyes. I'll start with this kid from the 9th peak. Force him to show himself. He moved incredibly fast. Nothing like an ordinary Foundation establishment cultivator. And you quickly sensed it too. He was emitting the aura of late-stage Foundation establishment. But his speed was even greater. Either his techniques are special, or he's hiding his strength too. You came to a stop, and stopped moving. Since he'd already caught up, there was no point in running in circles. Suddenly, a low beast's roar echoed from the forest. Monsters began emerging from the shadows one after another. Tigers, boars, and bulls, all at least Foundation establishment level. Xingzhao stood behind the beast horde, smiling as he watched. This junior from the 9th peak is really something special. To stay this calm at a time like this. You watched him calmly. Senior, are you here to borrow my red gourd? If you're willing to lend it, Xingzhao smiled even wider. It's borrowed, but never returned. Senior Sister Ao said, as long as my gourd goes missing, she think you took it. You grinned at Xingzhao. So if you die here, and the gourd's still on you, I won't be a suspect. Senior, you'd kill me just for a gourd? Pretty much. Xingzhao gave a contemptuous look. Honestly, I just don't like you. As soon as he finished, a fierce bull monster charged straight at you, thundering right toward you. Jinjiao was already picturing you being sent flying, and then torn apart by the monsters. But in the next instant, you moved, smashing out a punch. The upper body of that bull was instantly blown apart. What was left was flung by the shockwave. Jinjiao was completely stunned. You've been hiding your true strength. You didn't answer. A whole pack of monsters attacked at once. But you fought back with the simplest punches. Bang, bang, bang. In just a few moments, every beast was defeated. None were worth a second punch. Xingzhao's face completely changed. What realm are you really in? You walked toward him step by step. Your expression stayed calm the entire time. You don't like me. I guess I was just blind. Finally, Xingzhao panicked, backing away again and again. Spare me, senior. I didn't know what I was up against. You kept walking forward. Why did you come after me? It was for a bigger plan. Xingzhao's voice was trembling. About all of Kunlun. It concerns the next few hundred years. As he was speaking, the only hand he had left quietly moved behind his back. He still had a trump card. A kind of poison that could even kill a golden core cultivator. If you get distracted even for a moment, he would have a chance to fight back. Too bad you had no intention of listening further. As soon as you said that, you threw out a punch. Xingzhao completely collapsed on the spot. He died without understanding why you stopped asking. You withdraw your fist. Expression calm. Since it concerns all of Kunlun, then it doesn't have much to do with me. The thing you're best at now is knowing what you should care about and what you shouldn't. If you don't have the strength, then don't rush into the center of trouble. After dealing with Xingzhao, you continue up the mountain. It's already dawn. Perfect timing for a check-in. When you reach the summit, there's no one around, and there's no sign of a Dao pulse. You don't feel disappointed though. You silently recite in your mind the third secret realm of the system. Check-in at the summit. Ding. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host, you have received the Dao Pulse's gift. Obtain the Heaven and Earth Creation Pill. The Creation Pill gathers the changes of heaven and earth. All things evolve, can break through all bottlenecks. You're stunned for a second. The last Heaven and Earth creation was a Dao collection. This time it's actually a creation pill. You look in your mind at the pill entwined with black and white light, feeling a hint of excitement. Its effect is straightforward and also quite overbearing. Break through all bottlenecks. All bottlenecks. Your first thought is, if you save this until you're about to ascend, could you ascend in one step? That idea was too tempting, but you suppress it quickly. No matter how good a treasure is, you have to survive until then first. Saving it for last may not be the best move. Only using it when you most need it is true value. Keep it for now and see. You put those thoughts away and prepare to go down the mountain, back within Ao Longyu's sensing range. And keep an eye out for a good foundation establishment opportunity. But at the mountain base, Ao Longyu already sensed something. Something's wrong. The secret realm is getting foggy. And the fog came way too suddenly. It makes no sense at all. It shouldn't be foggy at this time. He opens his eyes, frowning slightly. Once the fog comes, beast herds tend to gather in the mountains. Could even trigger a beast tide. What's worse?
He stands out too much to beasts by nature.
If a beast tide really breaks out, he'll become a prime target. The ambush 3 years ago made him extremely wary of anything unusual. Is it really just a coincidence? He doesn't just sit there. He immediately heads up the mountain to find people. Soon he discovers the fog doesn't just block vision. It severely interferes with his senses too. Even I'm affected. Others are going to be in even more danger. He speeds up. Before long, he senses a familiar aura. It's your junior brother from Peak 9. Ao Longyu is a bit surprised. You knew to retreat. Show some self-awareness after all. But right after, he notices something off. With your cultivation level, you're moving a bit too fast. And you don't seem affected by the fog. Meanwhile, you already sensed his approach first. He's here, but you neither run nor hide. Just stay alert. You haven't truly fought a real golden core yet. Though you've already formed your core, you still lack a clear idea of relative strength. Xingzhao really doesn't count. With a swirl of wind, Ao Longyu descends from midair, blue and white robes fluttering. Almost unreal beauty. You bow your head in salute. Ao Longyu, even with your steady temperament, you still can't help but be amazed for a moment. But only for a moment. If he's as hostile as Xingzhao, you won't show mercy either. Have you seen anyone else?
He asks. You shake your head.
I'll take you somewhere safe first. Fog in adversity means there's danger. After saying that, he sweeps you up with his power and whisks you away. After flying for a while, he suddenly stops. Because the fog is intentionally receding, Ao Longyu turns to you. Is this your doing, junior brother? You don't deny it. Just a little trick. What kind of trick? Something like gravity spell. You think for a second and just explain your idea. Use a vessel to hold the material. Then use an array plus gravity spell for repulsion. Make the array the center, and push similar fog outward. Too much force and it won't hold. So it's just a clever trick. You then take out the array plate and the small bottle. Ao Longyu glances at them, finally showing clear surprise. The spell isn't very strong, but it's clever and very useful. The key isn't that people can't learn, but ordinary folks wouldn't think of it, or wouldn't bother to study it this far. How do you know all this, junior brother? You answer naturally, looking down. Peak 9 just has a lot of books. As a disciple of Peak 9, you have a lot of time. To put it simply, I read a lot, and learn a mix of things. Ao Longyu gives you a look, doesn't press further. He just tosses you a book before leaving. Yanneling technique call it a trade. You take it, thanking him. Not long after, he brings you to a flat, safe spot, then draws a circle around you. Stay inside and don't come out. If any other disciples come, you can let them in, but you need to judge for yourself. Without my mark, only you can let them in. Remember, don't just walk out. After saying that, he disappears into the fog. You watch the direction he left in. After a while, you quietly murmur, looks like he's not an enemy. Since he's not an enemy, whether he goes to save people or investigate something, none of it has anything to do with you. For you, the most important thing now is to get through this trial safely. You glance at the yanneling technique in your hand. Expression calm, perfect for some studying. You finish flipping through the yanneling technique. It really isn't very powerful. In the end, it's just attaching cultivation to words. To do things you could already do, like saying rise to a stone, and then the stone floats up. It looks like it makes your words law, but really it just simplifies control, adds a touch of showmanship. Doesn't work for complicated stuff. The fewer words, the better. But you still find it pretty interesting. With a ledger page, you could really make it look impressive. You start learning right away. You've always learned quickly these years. The foundation left by the Tao collection was just so solid. Array and spell deductions always come easier to you than others. Of course, you don't learn everything. If it's useless and too time-consuming, you give up. You give up right away. Cultivation is always the most important. When you open your eyes again, it's daylight. The thick fog still hasn't lifted. You raise your hand and casually wave forward, voice steady as you speak. The mist instantly parts, like it was forcibly scattered by your words. But soon after, the thick fog around you gathers again. You watch for a while. Take out the array and small bottle. Try using both at once again. This time, the fog retreats even faster, and over a wider area. It can't regroup for a long time. Quite practical, actually. You don't think this inspiration is unique. If you could figure it out, senior sister Ao Longyu probably could too. He's not a fool. You were planning to keep cultivating, but before you could even settle in, a huge rumbling suddenly echoed from the mountain. Next came a powerful surge of spiritual energy. Even the ground seemed to tremble slightly. The sea of mist churned violently. In the distance, the roars of demonic beasts came one after another. The circle around you suddenly lit up. Ao Longyu's remaining defenses were fully activated. They blocked every incoming shockwave outside. You looked up toward the mountains. Your expression gradually darkened. At the very least, that's the golden core stage. Then the beast roars kept coming faster and faster, and grew more and more chaotic. The rampage has started. You instantly thought of the record in the 9th hidden tome. Rampage isn't ordinary trouble, especially for high-level demonic beasts. Once they go on a rampage together, almost nothing survives. If this really is a rampage, staying here might not be safe. But how do you leave? You have no idea. No one ever taught you how to escape a mystic realm. You were just about to go out and take a look. The next instant, that familiar sensation returned. Someone is watching you. You paused, and immediately dismissed your plan to leave. Again, since they're not making a move, you don't move either. You sat back down, and continued cultivating. You just sat there straight through to nightfall. During that time, several surges of power erupted in the mountain. Even the aftershocks swept across your area. But Ao Longyu's circle remained intact the whole time. Dragon roars, beast howls, and explosions kept coming in waves. But that gaze locked on you never left. The watcher was always there. You weren't anxious. They were waiting, and so were you. Deep into the night, that gaze finally moved. It drew closer to you. Before long, you heard heavy footsteps through the mist, sounding like someone seriously injured, stumbling toward your direction. Then a figure burst out of the mist and collapsed just outside the circle. It was a female disciple. She wore a Kunlun robe, her whole body stained with blood. You stood up and walked to the edge of the circle. You asked, "Are you okay?" The woman looked up at you, her breath weak. "Is this Senior Sister Longyu's protection circle?" "Who are you?" Wu Jing, a third seal disciple. She coughed up blood, her face deathly pale. "We encountered a rampage. Senior Sister Longyu saved us, then went to rescue other disciples. But there are still 3 people trapped nearby. 2 are heavily injured. 1 is watching over them. And I'm the least hurt. So I came to ask for help. Can you help, junior brother?" She spoke haltingly, looking both pitiful and bedraggled. Anyone else might have believed her. But you only asked, "How many others are there?" 3. You instantly made your calculation. 1 at Foundation establishment completion, plus 3 accomplices. Most likely, they're not above that level. If it's real, it's not a big deal. If it's a lie, then it's a good chance to deal with them all at once. All right, you nodded. Wu Jing visibly relaxed. You even saw a trace of delight in her eyes. "Junior brother, you really want to help? Which peak are you from?" "The 9th peak." The instant you stepped out of the protection circle, you could clearly sense the surge of force she had been storing inside. Her cover was pretty good. She even used a magical treasure to mask it, but it was useless in front of you. "Can you walk, senior sister?" "Yes." She forced herself to her feet, stumbling forward. You didn't reach out to help, just calmly followed her. You didn't seem to mind either. She made small talk as you walked, trying to probe you further. "Junior brother, you're only at the peak of key refinement." "Yeah, not very gifted. Slow birds have to start flying early. There's always a place for you," you replied casually. But all your attention was on her and your surroundings. Soon you sensed it. The other 3 were all nearby, uninjured and all hiding. At this moment, Wu Jing suddenly stopped. She turned to look at you. Her previously pitiful, weak expression vanished, replaced by a hint of amusement. "Junior brother, you really trust Senior Sister Longyu, huh?" "She's a dragon. I'm sure she'd be fine." "Do you like her a lot?" "I'm not worried," you replied calmly. "Really?" she laughed. "Then, junior brother, would you be willing to die by Senior Sister Longyu's sword too?" You stopped and looked at her. "So you guys want to use Sister A's sword to kill me?" Wu Jing froze for a moment, then smiled even wider. "Junior brother is really clever. So why don't you cooperate a little? This will be over soon, don't even think about running. We have plenty of people." As soon as she finished speaking, the other 3 also stepped out of the mist, surrounding you in the center. You glanced at the 4 of them, hardly showing any emotion. That reaction actually startled Wu Jing for a moment, but she didn't bother thinking about it. Assuming you'd accepted your fate, she drew a sword. It was Ao Longyu's sword. They'd planned this carefully, killing a 9th peak disciple with Ao Longyu's sword, and framing her for it. If Ao Longyu ended up dying here too, the Dragon Princess dying in Kunlun, the situation would only get messier. They're already at the final stage of their plan. Of course, they didn't want to waste any more time. So she attacked, sword flashing, aiming straight for your heart. The others all watched. No one thought anything would go wrong. After all, you were just at the peak of key refinement. But something unexpected happened. You vanished. Wu Jing's sword stabbed empty air. Her eyes widened in shock. She barely had time to react when she saw her 3 companions' faces twist in horror, as if they'd seen a ghost. She didn't even have time to look back before her vision warped. The world whirled around suddenly. A moment later, intense pain exploded. "Were you just looking for me?" Your voice sounded in her ear. Only then did Wu Jing realize she was about to die. How could this be? Her consciousness faded away. You looked away and turned to the other 3. You actually wanted to ask them how many more accomplices they had. If they won't bother you, you'd ignore them, but if they drag you into trouble, you had to get rid of them quickly. You definitely didn't want to end up as the only survivor, having to explain to Kunlun what exactly happened in the mystic realm. It was only then the other 3 snapped out of it. Their faces turned ashen. One of them turned and ran immediately. The other shouted, "Stop him! I'll go warn the others." You didn't chase him, instead eyeing the remaining two. "You're not running?" The two exchanged a glance, then gritted their teeth and charged. They didn't believe it. No way someone at the peak of key refinement could actually be this strong. There must be something fishy. Either it's a magical treasure or secret technique. There's no way it's real skill. You take a step forward and appear right in front of one of them. With a punch, that person disintegrates on the spot. The other one completely loses it. He turns and runs. You take another step forward. Heavenly steps unfold. In the next instant, you're already beside him.
He barely lets out half a scream.
Boom! He turns into a cloud of mist. Only then do you turn to look at the one fleeing ahead. He's running fast. Clearly, he's trying to deliver the message back. You don't kill him immediately. Instead, you calmly follow behind. Let him lead the way. Saves you the trouble of searching yourself? Meanwhile, a light mist rises from your body, covering your face and figure. Your aura and fate are hidden from sight. From an outsider's perspective, it looks like you've blended into the fog. Everybody sees something different, but no one can really see your true form, let alone trace where you came from. Soon you sense power ahead. A storm and a cacophony of beast roars are on the other side. In a cleared-out section, over a dozen disciples from Kunlun are desperately defending a small circle. Outside the defensive circle, hordes of demon beasts are madly charging in. Standing at the very front are two golden core female cultivators. One of them is precisely Ao Longyu.
He's partially transformed into his dragon form.
Scales and claws have grown on his hands. Dragon horns protrude from his forehead. His body is covered in blood. Some of it belongs to others, some of it his own. Someone's controlling the beast pack. He speaks coldly. Beside him, Lincia's face is grim. If it wasn't for seeing your sister bringing that fog-dispersing spell, we wouldn't have lasted this long. They're just using the fog and these beast waves to try and kill us all. Ao Longyu doesn't say a word. He knows deep down. If you hadn't taught him that small formation earlier, they would have probably collapsed by now. But even so, it's just barely keeping them alive. Behind the beast pack, someone is controlling everything. And their goal is obvious. It's exactly like the ambush from 3 years ago. The similarities this time are uncanny. But instead of using magical artifacts to crush him, they're using the beast wave. We need to break out.
Ao Longyu says, "If this keeps up."
Sooner or later, we're dead, Lincia says in a low voice. The message has already been sent out. But we don't know if it was intercepted. If it really was, we'll have to wait for the next group to enter the secret realm and notice something's wrong. Then alert the outside, which means we're almost hopeless. At that moment, a delicate-looking male disciple in the circle suddenly speaks up. Actually, there's still one way. Everyone turns to him. Fight our way out. His eyes take on a vicious glint as he licks his lips. Break through on the edge of death. If you don't, you die. The moment those words leave his mouth, the circle goes quiet for a second. But nobody argues, because everyone knows it's the only way. If you don't break through, you can only wait to die. Since they want you dead, fight for that sliver of hope, whatever it takes. Very quickly, everyone's aura inside the circle changes. Not despair, but resolve a do-or-die spirit. This change comes fast. And the people hiding behind the scenes sense it. Suddenly, the beast pack stops. They slowly back away, purposely giving up a path. Then, 4 figures in black robes step out. 1 golden core, 3 foundation establishment. Late stage, clearly. These are the ones controlling the beast pack. The leader in black speaks in a low voice. We have no wish to make enemies of Kunlun. We only seek revenge on the Dragon Clan. Once these words are spoken, Ao Longyu immediately understands. They're shifting the blame. Sure enough, the other side continues. If the other disciples leave, we won't stop them. Our target has only ever been Ao Longyu. They even swear an oath right there, saying they won't touch anyone else. Lincia sneers. So if you don't do it, others can't do anything either? If we split up, who you kill is just a matter of a word. But even though he says that, the disciples still relax a little. Because the other side really did swear. The danger is cut in half. Now instead, Ao Longyu speaks. Junior sister, You lead them. And go, I'll stay behind. I'm not leaving. Lin Saya immediately plants herself beside him. Ao Longyu looks at her, his tone growing colder. If you stay, you'll just drag me down. I'm of the Dragon Clan. I have ways to save myself. One more person only makes it more dangerous. Lin Xia freezes. She can't tell if he's serious. But Ao Longyu has made himself clear. If she stays, she just seems stubborn. The others start urging senior sister Lin to withdraw too. If we stay, we're just burdens as well. In the end, Lin Xia grits her teeth and nods, leads the others away. Ao Longyu watches them go. Only when he's sure the black-robed group isn't following does he slowly turn back. He knows he's probably not going to make it. The only reason he said what he did was to get the others out. Maybe if it were at the beginning, he'd still have a chance to break through. But now he's far too injured. It's far too late. I do want to know which side you're really on. He stares at the black-robed figures. Either way, in your eyes, I'm already a dead man. What good does it do a dead man to know so much? The black-robed one waves his hand. Next instant, the beast pack charges back in. Ao Longyu can only grit his teeth and resist. One demon beast after another attacks him. He kills and retreats at the same time. The wounds on his body multiply, just as he's pinned down by the beasts. The leader in black picks the perfect moment, and suddenly attacks. A sword wounds his very essence. Ao Longyu grits his teeth, spitting out a mouthful of vital blood, forcing himself to counterattack. But his injuries are too severe. He can't even spit out the blood properly, and some splatters on his own face. Bloody streaks run down his right cheek to his neck, like a sinister, ghostly mark. Boom! The black-robed figure is blasted back, but it only shatters a life-saving artifact, without really injuring him. Landing on the ground, his gaze turns even colder. Good thing I saw that coming.
Now die.
Ao Longyu half kneels on the ground, with the sword still stuck in him. A trace of despair finally appears in his eyes. Just as the black-robed man is about to attack again, the sound of footsteps suddenly rings out. Tap. The sound isn't loud, but it's so abrupt everyone is startled. Who is it? The black-robed man whips his head around. But it's not you who steps out from the fog first. It's that Foundation disciple you chased all the way back. His face is terrified, utterly disheveled. He starts to cry out to the black-robed men, something's wrong. Before he even finishes his sentence, bang. His body suddenly collapses. Blood mist sprays everywhere. The black-robed man's pupils contract. Ao Longyu is stunned too. You emerge from the fog. Your figure hazy. Your face indistinct. Only that aura can be made out eerily calm and unimaginably dangerous. Sorry for disturbing you all. Your tone is as steady as if you're just passing through. The black-robed men glare at you, but in their hearts, dread is rising. He hadn't noticed you approach at all, and didn't see how you struck either. Ao Longyu also stares at you, shocked to his core, that punching technique. This sense of calm that's almost indifferent. He's seen him before, it's that guy. But he still doesn't dare to be certain. What exactly are you here for? It's just that he's not like you. More like someone simply passing by. And then, whoever blocks your way, you deal with them. The man in the black robe suppresses his alarm. He asks in a deep voice, "Who are you?" "I'm just passing through the secret realm." You glance down at the remains on the ground. Then, they didn't like the look of me. The man in the black robe immediately follows up your words. That's indeed their fault. They've already paid the price. Now, you're planning to leave. We absolutely won't stand in your way. He doesn't want to provoke a golden core cultivator for nothing. Success is right in front of him. There's no need to create further complications. You glance to the side at the severely injured Ao Longyu, then look back at him. I think you all are really getting in the way of my stroll here. As soon as these words leave your mouth, the man in the black robe's face instantly darkens. You're asking for death yourself. He immediately gives orders to those behind him. Hold him back. I'll deal with Ao Longyu. In that instant, beasts and the remaining people all charge at you at once. The man in the black robe attacks Ao Longyu again. He clearly doesn't see you as his top priority. In his eyes, Ao Longyu is the most important target. Once he's dead, then he'll come back for you. You watch as the beast horde charges at you. Frowning slightly, that's quite a lot. The next moment, you make your move, boom, boom, boom. A barrage of explosions bursts out suddenly, like thunder rolling in the fog. So fast, too fast for the naked eye to follow. You see clusters of mist appearing in midair. The beasts and robed accomplices almost all go down in a single exchange. All of them fall. No remains left. Only billowing blue smoke everywhere. Hearing the commotion, the man in the black robe turns to look back and freezes right there in the middle of the clearing. You walk out step by step, like you've just passed through a slaughterhouse. No trace left under your feet, yet your body is spotless. How is this possible? His voice even changes. Ao Longyu just stares at you in shock, with only one thought left in his mind. It really is you, and even stronger than he thought. Fellow cultivator, there must be some misunderstanding here. The man in the black robe quickly changes his tone, even sounding a little anxious. Misunderstanding? You keep walking forward. Your voice isn't loud, but it makes it hard for others to breathe. The first time you caused trouble for me, I let it go. Then you came again a second time. Now you're telling me it was just a misunderstanding. So what about a third time? A chill runs down the black-robed man's back. He hurriedly explains that all those incidents were their doing on their own. Had nothing to do with us. Why would we make things difficult for you? If my cultivation weren't strong enough, would it still be a misunderstanding? Before he finishes speaking, you're already in front of him. You punch down, boom. Your fist hasn't even reached him yet, when a barrier of light erupts from within him, forcibly blocking your attack. As the two forces collide, you frown and step back to deflect the force, dispersing the energy whoosh. The shockwave spreads. Even Ao Longyu is blown away, and the man in the black robe
Is wrapped up in light.
and flees straight up into the sky. Your gaze hardens. There's someone even stronger behind this. At that moment, you stop holding back your entire early-stage golden core power, channeling it instantly into the strength of 4 bulls. Even before your punch lands, the trees around you are already trembling violently, like they're about to snap from the roots at any moment. Trying to run. You shout in a low voice. You strike out with a punch from afar. Boom! The ferocious fist force tears open the sea of mist, chasing after that fleeing streak of light. Seeing the overwhelming force coming from behind, the black-robed man's face turns utterly ashen. He screams out, "Seeing your brother." Just as the man in the black robe calls for help, another force rushes in out of nowhere. Surprisingly, it collides head-on with yours. A punch, boom. The two forces clash fiercely in midair, directly shredding the nearby trees to pieces. Amazingly, you're still standing, but Ao Longyu isn't so lucky. Already badly injured, he's blasted away by the aftershock again. Almost battered to death on the spot, the black-robed man has it the worst. He's caught exactly between the two forces. One is trying to take him away, while the other wants to finish him off. He's almost torn apart. You frown deeply. The one behind the scenes has finally revealed themselves. And they're very strong. At least their cultivation is higher than yours. But you immediately realize the opponent wasn't lurking here all along, but only just arrived, meaning they acted at the last moment. In other words, the opponent wasn't fully prepared break. All the strength you have left in your body is forced out in a single breath. The Kunlun Star Sutra runs wildly. Golden core power surges toward the black-robed man like a flood, seeing himself about to be crushed. The black-robed man tries to cry out in terror, but can't make a sound, and is directly engulfed by your force, completely wiped out. After that attack, a huge area is cleared out. You stand where you are unmoving. Your senses quickly expand outward. That stronger person only made one move, and left immediately after failing to save their ally. They're very powerful. If we really fought, I might not win. You're well aware of it. The opponent is definitely stronger than you are right now. But they also seem cautious about something, and don't keep attacking you. So for you, that's not a bad sign. But after throwing that punch, you're almost out of power too. Gotta get moving. You don't linger any longer. Finally looking once at Ao Long lying in the distance. He's still alive, badly hurt, but not fatally so. You don't go over to help him, nor do you intend to speak to him. Settling things here is enough. Getting any closer would just bring more trouble. You've already gotten yourself into bigger problems. The mastermind isn't dead, and is stronger than you. Getting too entangled with Ao Longyu now would only put you at a bigger disadvantage. Luckily, there are no other disciples on the ninth peak. You even feel a bit relieved inside. If there were any junior brothers or sisters left, you'd have to worry about them too. It's much simpler this way. You immediately use the 9 steps of skywalking, returning to Ao Longyu's protective formation, planning to keep up the act as a well-behaved Foundation establishment cultivator, waiting for rescue, or for other disciples to come back. If the ones who return are enemies, you'll deal with it then. Meanwhile, Linxia and her group had already withdrawn but also heard the massive explosions from over there. After a moment's hesitation, Linxia grits her teeth and turns back. You guys go ahead. I'm going back to look for senior sister. Molly exchanges a glance with a female disciple and goes after her as well. The rest make their own decisions. Some return. Some keep fleeing. Nobody's foolish, just betting on different ways to survive. After you return to the safe zone, you carefully scan the surroundings. There were no traces of anyone passing by, and no new eyes fell on you. It should be fine. You sat cross-legged, waiting while staying alert in secret, testing if that powerful manipulator would come looking for you. But it stayed quiet all night until dawn. Early next morning, 5 people appeared in your line of sight. Ao Longyu and Linxia, plus 3 Peak Foundation establishment disciples. They were all injured, especially Ao Longyu. A blood-red mark appeared on the right side of her face, stretching from her face down her neck. It looked like both an injury and some kind of bloodline reaction. Her hands were covered in filth. Obviously, they'd been through a tough battle. Looks like those people really retreated. You stood up, quietly waiting for them to approach. As soon as Linxia entered the safe zone, she first settled Ao Longyu, then turned to ask you, has anyone been here during this time? You shook your head. You did check. No obvious traces were left around. Without any evidence, it's better to be straightforward. Just say no one came. Linxia didn't ask further. She quickly addressed the group. People outside should have received word by now. Let's wait for rescue here. If you want to make a breakthrough, you can try your luck nearby, but don't move beyond my perimeter. Otherwise, you're on your own. No one else objected. Obviously, no one wanted to sit around and die. After this turn of events, they all understood. Your cultivation is your foundation. You left the safe zone with the group. Going with the flow draws the least attention. As for Ao Longyu, she half leaned in place, watching you all leave. She said nothing, but she understood. Surviving this time was pure luck. A 9th peak disciple first taught her the control technique. Then a mysterious stranger showed up to lend a hand, and Linxia later doubled back to bring her back. If she missed even one step, she'd have vanished completely. After you left the safe zone, you found a spot and signed in first. Ding! Check-in successful, you received Mighty King Kong Pill. Its effect is simple and brutal. Temporarily doubles your strength. You put it away after taking a look. This thing is truly fierce when combined with your mighty strength, but it's also very taxing. Don't take it unless absolutely necessary. Afterward, you made your way to a lakeside. This lake was very quiet. Too quiet, actually. The water was crystal clear. When fish swam across the lake, not a single ripple appeared. It was as if the entire lake flowed naturally along some kind of grand Tao. You glanced at it, and suddenly your mind cleared. Many things you couldn't figure out before suddenly made sense. Cultivation methods, spell arrays. It was like someone gave you a gentle push of fate. You didn't hesitate and sat down to comprehend. A night passed. When you opened your eyes again, your cultivation hadn't grown much, but your foundation was clearly more solid, and your understanding of many things reached a deeper level. You even felt slightly close to the state you had when Daozang remained. It's time to build your foundation now. You were already at the core formation stage, but on the surface you were stuck at the peak of key refinement. Now, thanks to this enlightenment, you can openly finish foundation establishment. You first sensed your surroundings. Everyone was still nearby. Ao Longyu and Linxia were most likely still in place. And there were new presences approaching, probably the ones who'd scattered earlier. Technically, none of this concerns you. But just as you were about to sit and break through, you saw both core formation cultivators moving. One went to meet the returnees, and one headed straight for you. Coming straight for me. You tensed up a bit inside, but showed no sign on your face. You're sure you were the only one around? No way they went the wrong way. The person quickly landed in front of you. It was Ao Longyu. You got up immediately. Her feet were bare. She was clearly not fully recovered, but looked much better than yesterday. Her hands, which had been bloody, were now smooth and fair again. Dragon blood healing ability is just outrageous. Ao Longyu looked at you, her voice as calm as always. Junior brother, you're planning to advance to foundation establishment? Had some insights last night, and thought you might give it a try? That's a reasonable explanation. You really did have an epiphany last night. Both core formation cultivators likely sensed it, so it's not strange for you to break through now. Ao Longyu didn't ask further. She handed you a bottle of pills. These are foundation establishment pills. Your repulsion array is more valuable than longevity technique. Counting all that, these foundation pills make us square. You caught the bottle. Honestly, a bit surprised. She came specifically to settle this favor, but it made sense. Your little array did help them a lot, especially when the secret realm was shrouded in fog. Without it, they might not have made it this far. You didn't refuse, and simply accepted. Thanks, senior sister. That's best. This way, there's no more debts between us. You didn't really need foundation pills anyway. The only disciple of Ninth Peak. Your master stockpiled quite a few for you long ago. But turning them down now would be odd, since she offered on her own. Ao Longyu saw you accept, and nodded, then turned and left. She came here really just to settle this, and felt relieved you were willing to accept. Satisfied, she left. Afterward, you sat down, symbolically took a foundation pill, and began to break through. Another night passed. You advanced your surface cultivation to early foundation establishment. That way, after going back, you won't need to undergo as many heart demon checks as a key refiner. Even if master checks you later, it'll just be an occasional spot check. And while you were breaking through, things outside Kunlun had already exploded. On Ninth Peak, as soon as Mo Zhengdong got the news, he rose almost immediately, heading straight for the entrance of Third Peak's secret realm. By the time he arrived, a crowd was already gathered outside. Head of the group was Third Peak's master Zhu Qing. The fairy's dignified and powerful aura had the crowd silent. Senior brother Mo, you're here. Zhu Qing glanced at him. Mo Zhengdong skipped the pleasantries and asked straight away about the situation inside. He only cares about one thing. Are you still alive? Ninth Peak's only disciple. Best he's had in thousands of years. If anything happened here, he'd flip the entire Third Peak upside down. Zhu Qing didn't look too happy either. The storm is still raging. You'll have to wait another day to get in. Mo Zhengdong didn't say anything. His expression was extremely grim. Of course he knows you're steady-minded. You know how to see good and avoid bad. But no matter how steady, you're still vulnerable to major accidents. Now, he doesn't even hope for you to form your foundation. He only wants you not to disappear. When the second day arrives, you successfully form your foundation. Others in the secret realm also gain some rewards. Many even manage to survive by the skin of their teeth and touch the threshold of the golden core. Genius truly is genius. You sighed in your heart. Even if placed in Kunlun, this group would be considered outstanding. You just got up, planning to take a casual walk to get used to the surface level foundation cultivation. Then you noticed strange phenomena appearing in the sky. The storm was churning. Space was twisting. A huge passage was forcefully torn open in the sky. Right after that, an indescribable pressure materialized. Your heart sank. In that instant, you instinctively felt fear. This isn't just a small gap in strength. This is the gulf between mortal and immortal. Even though you're a golden core now, you still can't even touch the edge of the other side. Luckily, that aura quickly withdrew. People started descending from above one after another. You didn't dare to look closely. You just kept your head down, trying to minimize your presence. When will I ever reach this stage? That thought flashed through your mind. You originally wanted to blend in with the crowd, quietly leave with everyone else. But obviously, that's not realistic. A familiar aura was coming directly toward you. You didn't even need to sense it. You instantly knew who it was. Sure enough, in the next moment, Mo Zhengdong landed in front of you. Greetings, master. You immediately bowed and paid your respects. Mo Zhengdong looked you up and down. He didn't ask about anything else. He first asked the most important thing. Foundation formed? Yes, disciple has formed the foundation. He obviously breathed a sigh of relief at your answer. Then he said directly, I'll take you back.
He didn't ask what happened in the secret realm.
Nor did he plan to make you testify or cooperate in any investigation. As long as you're safe, that's enough for him. You were naturally happy about it. The more people, the more attention. Being the only disciple of the ninth peak, you're naturally easy to be singled out. You monopolize resources, and your master favors you. To others, these are all just thorns. They don't see how you're invaded daily by nether key on the ninth peak. Nor do they care you managed to stay 10 years, when others couldn't. They just think you're mediocre. Why should you get so much? So it's best to go back. Along the way, Mo Zhengdong was clearly in a good mood. Foundation establishment in 3.5 years. Not bad. After saying that, he asked what kind of magical treasure you wanted. You thought for a bit, but still bowed your head honestly. Whatever master gives is what this disciple will take. Mo Zhengdong smiled. You're really putting your master on the spot. But though that's what he said, his expression wasn't troubled at all. It was obvious he'd already decided. The next day, you received an egg. Black and white patterns. Not large, fitting in your palm. A heavy chicken egg. You almost blurted it out. Mo Zhengdong kept a calm expression. Spirit pet egg. Mutated cloud tiger. It had fallen near a nether artifact, and somehow survived. So, there's a good chance it can adapt to the nether key of the ninth peak. I've tested it many times. Made sure there were no problems before giving it to you. No one is left on the ninth peak. You're the only disciple. He gave you this egg, not just to make up for a magical treasure, but also so you wouldn't be too lonely. You understood inside. You lowered your head and thanked him. Thank you, master. You thought it would hatch in a few days, but you were overthinking it. 3 years passed, yet the egg still just sat quietly at your side. No sign of hatching at all. You checked it many times. The life force was still there, steady as can be, like it was just asleep. Well, might as well wait a bit longer. All you could do was keep caring for it. But what really troubled you these past 3 years was your cultivation. After returning from the third secret realm, you shut yourself in for another 3 years. But after all that time, you only barely pushed from early to mid-core formation. It was so slow. For the first time, you felt it clearly. The deeper you go, the harder cultivation gets. From core formation to nascent soul is like scaling one mountain after another. If you're struggling this much, an ordinary disciple might not reach your level even after centuries. After that, you just stopped worrying about what's outside. I simply checked in for rewards in the nether cave. While cultivating, year after year went by. Until one day, Mo Zhengdong came to the nether cave in person. Disciple, did you turn the nether cave into your home? Mo Zhengdong looked at you, unable to hold back a little smile. Today happens to mark your 10th year on the ninth peak. 10 years, that's a record the ninth peak never had before. In the past, no matter what kind of disciple, none lasted even 5 years, let alone 10. The more talented a person is, the more likely they are to be caught by inner demons. Because the higher the ambition, the stronger the desire. But you're the rare exception. Cultivation here goes faster, so I found it hard to leave for a while. You answered Mo Zhengdong honestly. The nether cave that everyone else avoids. Yet you say you can't bear to leave. He was almost amused by you. In the end, he tossed you a bag of snacks. Go buy a good bottle of wine down the mountain. You took the snacks, still feeling a bit confused. Your master almost never drank alcohol these years. Yet now at exactly 10 o'clock he sends you downhill for wine. Confused or not, you didn't ask more. Just went down the mountain. On the surface, your cultivation is still the same. Just mid-foundation establishment. After 10 years of cultivation, mid-foundation establishment isn't bad in Kunlun. At least it's not too eye-catching. In reality, you're still stuck at mid-core formation. The check-in rewards over the years gave you plenty. Pills, treasures, talismans, spells, cultivation arts, all sorts. But the ones you really use are still Kunlun Heart Scripture, Skywalk, and the power of 9 oxen. You've pushed the power of 9 oxen to 5 oxen worth. Much stronger than the initial 4 oxen. If you ran into that secret hand from the third secret realm again, You feel you just might face it head on this time. As for what really happened in the third secret realm, Kunlun did investigate afterwards. They said a disciple was swapped. The real goal was actually the treasure inside the secret realm. The so-called Dragon Clan revenge was just a cover. They used a blood sacrifice to locate the treasure, which caused all the chaos that followed. You listened and let it go, never caring whether it was true or not, so long as no one suspected you. Then it's fine. And by now, your secret is well kept. No one mentioned you the whole time. Even your master didn't ask for details, which is the best result for you. On your way down the mountain, you happen to have a thought. I should make some time to practice swordplay. The power of 9 oxen is strong, but it's way too violent and flashy. It's also not wise to use it in front of others. What you can really show off are your sword techniques and sword control. Those are much more proper methods.
Besides,
The spirit pet egg still hasn't reacted at all. It's been 6 years, you're starting to wonder if it's defective. But no matter how you check, it's still alive. Even your master couldn't figure out the cause, so all you can do is keep waiting. You originally hoped to raise it as a guard pet, but now it feels more like raising an ancestor. You made your way to the old wine inn at the foot of Kunlun Mountain. This place is shabby, with few people and mainly just sells wine. As for lodging, almost no one ever comes. Cultivators aren't much concerned about food or shelter anyway. When you walked in, the inn was empty. Just a little boy sleeping behind the counter. You knocked on the counter. The boy sleepily looked up. You asked for a good bottle of wine. My grandpa isn't back yet, the boy said, rubbing his eyes. Only grandpa can open the good wine.
he might not be back till evening.
You nodded, sat quietly to wait. Not long after, a woman came in. You only glanced over and sensed something was off demon aura. And a female demon at late foundation establishment, dressed like a village girl, in old clothes, but her aura all chaotic, clearly trying to hide her identity. She looked around as she entered, as if afraid to run into someone powerful. When she saw you, she was visibly startled. But then, seeing you were only mid-foundation establishment, she relaxed a little. Lowering her head, she walked to the counter. She quietly asked for a jug of ordinary wine. She handed over a gourd and a bag of snacks. The snacks were wrapped tightly, as if she was afraid to lose them. Or maybe she'd saved them up for a long time. You paid no attention to this demon. To rush to the foot of Kunlun for wine. She had some guts, but it had nothing to do with you. But then the next moment, someone else came in. A trace of dragon might filled the air, and that female demon almost jumped out of her skin. Her whole body went stiff. A glance and you recognized Ao Longyu. He was as eye-catching as ever, and even though the scars on his face had faded, his aura was as cold and distant as always. He walked in and gave you a look first. He glanced at the female demon again. The demon lowered her head in fear. She hugged the wine and walked out. She didn't even dare to breathe heavily. Ao Longyu didn't make a move. He just walked up to the counter. A bottle of good wine. As a result, the little boy immediately took a bottle of wine from under the counter.
He handed it to him, saying, "This is the fairy's good wine."
Turns out, even good wine is given special treatment. Ao Longyu took the wine. He turned and looked at your junior brother. He was also here to buy good wine. "That's you," you replied, standing up. "It's best to tell the boss a day in advance," he reminded you softly. "Otherwise, you'll have to wait." You thanked him. Now you understood why he gets wine upon arrival, while you have to sit and wait. Ao Longyu didn't say anything more. He took the wine and left. He made quite an impression on you. There are very few disciples on the 9th peak to begin with. Even fewer like you who have stayed on the 9th peak for so long. But after that incident 6 years ago, you basically stopped taking part in activities outside. So his impression of you remained just that, an impression. You didn't intend to get close to him either. To you, going back to your retreat is more important than anything else. Afterward, you simply closed your eyes and cultivated in the corner. Like a star, you sat there until afternoon. The little boy behind the counter stared at you secretly for a long time. The more he watched, the more he thought you had fallen asleep. After all, you hardly even move your posture. Until you suddenly spoke up. The wine bottle behind you is about to fall. The boy was startled. He whipped his head around. Sure enough, he saw a wine bottle, teetering and about to fall. He quickly rushed over and caught it. "Thanks," he said, hugging the bottle, still nervous. Then he was a little happy. Grandpa should be back soon. Every time a wine bottle is about to fall, he comes back soon after. It's like the wine bottle is reminding me. You nodded and didn't expose him. That didn't seem like a reminder, more like an elder remotely, watching to see if the kid was slacking off. But you didn't think much about it. Just now, you actually made a bit of progress in your state of mind. So you naturally sensed it. At this rate, when you advance to nascent soul, at least you won't be stuck by a heart demon. Not long after, footsteps did indeed come from the back room. An energetic old man came out. You immediately got up and went to the counter. The boy had already spoken for you, Grandpa. He wants good wine. The old man first looked at the bottle that hadn't broken. Then he turned to you. Did you bring snacks?
I did.
You handed him all the snacks Mo Zhengong had given you. The old man glanced at them, then accepted them and turned away. He fetched a tiny bottle from the very top shelf of the counter. Just enough for 2 or 3 sips. He placed it in front of you. Then he casually said, "Kid, just to enter Kongjing Lake, you're really willing to pay up. Give this wine to that man, and he'll definitely let you into the center of Kongjing Lake. If you tell him this is the last bottle, he'll be even more eager." You were stunned for a moment. Kongjing Lake was never even mentioned by your master. That is to say, your master had you buy wine, not just for drinking, but maybe to bring you somewhere. You had questions, but didn't ask further. You just cupped your hands. Thank you for the reminder, senior. Taking the wine, you headed straight back to the mountain. After you left, the old man looked at the boy, but his first question wasn't about wine. But did you have a breakthrough today? The wine bottle didn't even break. The boy looked innocent. It wasn't me who noticed. It was that big brother just now who reminded me. He was sitting so far away, and his eyes were closed, yet he knew the bottle was about to fall. The old man was surprised. Eyes closed. And he kept sitting over there. Never moved. The old man was silent for a moment. For the first time at year's end, he showed a hint of surprise. He wasn't someone just anyone could notice when it comes to those bottles, but a kid only in the middle of Foundation establishment, sitting in a corner with eyes closed, was actually able to sense that. The old man gazed in the direction you left, lost in thought. A Foundation establishment mid-stage cultivator like that. He suddenly wanted to know who you really were. You know, the bottles he left were for people like stars. Either their cultivation surpassed his, or they were unique stars. Otherwise, there's no way they'd sense it. They were meant specifically for that little shopkeeper. Anyone else is considered an outsider to the room, trying to sense what's inside from outside. Even if not truly superhuman, they're getting close. Someone like that, going to Jingkong Lake has to bring wine for that guy. Truly, you can't judge a book by its cover. He wondered which peak's disciple you were, and whose tutelage you failed under. You headed toward Kunlun Mountain all the way, but halfway there, you heard some noises up ahead. Sounded like wild beasts calling. You continued walking up ahead, sensing no fighting. There was no need to take a detour. Soon you reached a broken cliff. You looked down and saw there were 2 people hiding below, or rather 2 demons, a man and a woman.
The man
Had what looked like a ball of fire burning in front of him, with cracks appearing all over his body. "Me, this is spiritual wine. It can ease your wounds. Don't worry about me. There's no saving me." "No, no." The female demon shook her head, clearly refusing to believe it. At this moment, Ni wanted to say something, but suddenly spotted someone above the cliff. He was alarmed and immediately shielded the female demon behind him. Then he knelt down and prostrated himself. "Immortal, please forgive us." That sudden kneel caught you by surprise. "Do I look like an immortal to you?" At that moment, the female demon saw you too. She lowered her head, not daring to speak, clearly at a loss, wanting to escape with me. You looked at them, then turned and left. But before leaving, you said, "This place is the only way up to Kunlun. Hiding here is basically asking to die." It looked like these 2 had just arrived, and didn't even know the way. Of course, you just reminded them in passing. Whether they lived or died was none of your business. The 2 demons exchanged glances. With the female's support, they left the place together. But before leaving in your direction, they bowed respectfully. By the time the sky was turning dark, you were back at the 9th peak. "Master, here's your wine." You were planning to hand the wine to your master. But before you could speak, Mo Zhangdong interrupted. Kneel and kowtow 3 times. You were confused, but still knelt and kowtowed 3 times. Seeing you kneel and kowtow, Mo Zhangdong said, now offer up the wine. Say it's a gift to your master. This left you even more puzzled. What is master doing? But you didn't refuse. After you handed over the bottle, you finally said, a gift to my master. Mo Zhangdong took the wine and laughed loudly. Good. From today on, you are my formal, personal disciple in the mortal world. You were stunned. So that's what it was. Today is the day you became your master's mortal world disciple. No wonder he asked you to buy a good bottle of wine. But you have a problem. Is master any different than before? Mo Zhendong paused for a moment and replied, there should be some differences. For example, you asked curiously. For example, Mo Zhendong thought for a moment and replied, your title will change from now on. You'll become the direct disciple of the 9th peak. You became the direct disciple of the 9th peak. Though it doesn't seem very useful. But the title sounds nicer now. After all, you are the only disciple of the 9th peak. There's no real difference between being a regular or a direct disciple. You'll receive full cultivation support either way. There's no difference in resources. But other peaks have quite a gap in this regard. Master, next time you can tell me about this kind of thing in advance. You got up and spoke. Honoring your master is something you can handle yourself. It's just that you didn't know. Master wanted to accept you as a direct disciple. If you'd given me a heads up, I would have bought something for master myself, even though you don't have many snacks. Mo Zhendong smiled and said, maybe next time. It looks like there won't be another time in the future. After that, you return to the nether cave. You've now built a house inside the cave. You officially settled down. The entrance to the nether now became a well not far from your residence. Of course, this was done with your master's permission. It's exactly because of this that your heart and mind are checked more frequently. But you still have your house outside. You can go back at any time. After becoming a direct disciple, you don't have anything that requires you to go out. Maybe you'll need to go out again when you reach peak foundation establishment. Possibly just one more time. But for now, naturally you need to close yourself off to cultivate. Advance to primordial spirit as soon as possible. Ding. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You've received a gift from the Tao Meridians. Obtain the artifact Power Spirit Mirror. The Power Spirit Mirror reveals the weakest parts of your spiritual awareness. Begin your trial. Successful trials grant enough tempering. This is what you acquired during your closed-door cultivation sign-in. It has no other purpose. It's just used as preparation for becoming a primordial spirit. If you treat becoming a primordial spirit as the goal, then the Power Spirit Mirror is a paved road forward, letting you reach primordial spirit as fast as possible. You stayed at the 9th peak. You haven't cared about outside affairs anymore. You stayed for 30 years straight. Crack. On this day, you wake up from cultivation. And this day, the Power Spirit Mirror cracked. Boom! As you fully awakened, the Power Spirit Mirror shattered completely. Peak golden core. You didn't pay attention. This kind of artifact. You already knew about it. For it to last this long already surprised you. But you still haven't stepped into primordial spirit. This left you a bit disappointed. As expected, it does have something to do with talent. It feels like you're almost there, but it still takes some time. You're frustrated, but you don't really mind. After all, you've only cultivated for 40 years so far. You're about to break through to primordial spirit after just 40 years. Even those Kunlun geniuses are at most reaching golden core now. If they want to break through to primordial spirit, it'll take at least 150 years. Maybe even 200 years. As for those with average talent, it could take 300 or 400 years. If they're worse, they can't even enter Kunlun, because the lifespan of a golden core cultivator is very limited. You were considered one of those with average talent, but you have all 9th peak's resources, so your speed can still barely match some of the geniuses, like you now. After 40 years of cultivation, your outward realm is foundation establishment perfected. It won't be long before you break through golden core, but that's not what matters. What you care about is breaking through to primordial spirit. You have a creation pill. If you take it now, you'll reach primordial spirit tomorrow. But when that happens, the threshold to becoming immortal will be tough for you. You're a bit hesitant. You've already learned the sixth step of the Skywalk 9 steps. No problem surviving in the red grade realm. Even those at primordial spirit level shouldn't be able to catch you. My 9 bull strength is still stuck at 5 bulls. If I don't advance, it's hard to increase further. Feels like I could fight someone at primordial spirit level now. Not sure if that's just an illusion. The Kunlun Mind Sutra boosts my spells. Recently, I've signed in and learned many spells. They're all powerful and wide-ranging. I've never fought anyone at the same stage, so I'm not sure about their power. Gravitational art, sword control, 7-star sword art, 9 heaven fire flow. Thunderfall from heaven. All these techniques have been cultivated to their limits. The stronger my realm, the greater my attack. The Ziwei sword, immortal binding rope, demon hammer, and other artifacts work smoothly for me. Plus some runes. In theory, I have enough power to fight primordial spirit level. But ultimately, my realm is still golden core. You took out the creation pill, but hesitated for a moment, then grabbed the pill and swallowed it. You advanced from golden core to golden core perfected. It took you 30-something years to reach primordial spirit, standing at the threshold of refining spirit and returning to void. That could take 100 years. Those 100 years are enough to look for your next breakthrough opportunity. Now, this kind of strength is true power. And there are still many places at Kunlun Mountain that you haven't been to yet. Master also told you to explore outside. As a direct disciple, there are a few places you can't go. Next, you're preparing to swallow the pill and directly advance to primordial spirit. But just as you were about to swallow the pill, you sensed a message heading your way. It should be a transmission from your master. He saw my foundation establishment perfected and wants me to go to the third sealed secret realm. You're curious. Your master rarely contacts you. If he does, it's usually for something important. Now he's calling. Most likely it's to go to the secret realm for a chance at breakthrough. Master, you're really messing up my state of mind. Look at this creation pill. You put it away afterwards, wanting to see what your master wants. Then take it after. Someone is coming to the nether cave. You looked at the message from your master, a bit surprised. In these 40 years, no one has ever come to the 9th peak, let alone the nether cave. For ordinary disciples, if their cultivation isn't high enough, it's best to stay away from the nether cave. As disciples of the 9th peak, there's nothing you can do. So that's why it has to be this way. Otherwise, how would 9th peak have no disciples? Actually, not just these years. The 9th peak doesn't recruit disciples at all. Even if they did, no one could stay here for long anyway. They're coming today. Looks like you'll need to send these people away. Before you can advance to primordial spirit, you get up, ready to welcome those people outside. You're the only disciple of the 9th peak. If you don't go, would you make your master go? That's clearly unreasonable. Before leaving, you approach the spirit pet egg and pour some spirit liquid onto it, making sure it doesn't get malnourished. Yes, 30-something years. Nearly 40 years now. From the time you achieved foundation establishment on the surface. After your master gave you the spirit pet, the egg has never changed. No sign of hatching at all. At first, you were pretty attentive to it. Later, you treated it like taking care of a plant. Whenever you had time, you watered it. Even the soil wasn't ordinary. It was soil with a certain temperature. Your master brought it from somewhere else. He said that temperature was crucial when incubating spirit beasts. As it turns out, it didn't make much difference. The spirit beast just won't come out. You've already gotten used to it not hatching. If it suddenly hatched one day, you might actually not be used to it. But you checked again, and its life force hasn't weakened at all. Maybe it's a plant egg. It's as quiet as ever. You look at the plant egg, shake your head, and then turn to walk out of the nether cave. As you leave, you notice the sun has only just risen. There's still half a day before those people arrive. But you don't really care, and head straight to the foot of the 9th peak. You wait for them to arrive. In reality, you have no idea who's coming. Your master just told you to receive them, so they should be disciples from other peaks. If they're not disciples, then you wouldn't need to be here. As for the disciples, there's probably no one with a higher status than you. After all, you're the 9th peak's personal senior disciple. Chances are you'll inherit the 9th peak in the future, even though it's a tough job. It sounds impressive when you reach the base of the 9th peak. It's still early, You pick a spot and just stand there, and casually watch the clouds change in the sky. You remember that you have a technique related to clouds? The deeper your understanding of clouds, the stronger it gets. It's a special technique called the seven-colored auspicious cloud. It's more like a luck-boosting mystical art, but it just happens to be a spell. You didn't get it from the sign in reward, but from the Ninth Peak's records. Rumor is, it's very hard to master. But as luck would have it, you managed to learn it. Maybe it's because of the Tao Sutra. It's just that your understanding of clouds is limited, so you've never tried to use it. You gaze at the sky, watching the clouds roll in and out, as if observing the world's transformations. Somehow, it feels like you're not really looking at clouds, but at the transformations of the world itself. Suddenly, inspiration strikes you. The clouds in the sky appear seven-colored in your eyes. It feels like the seven-colored auspicious cloud would descend if you wished. On the path to the Ninth Peak, 3 people arrive. Each of them is a Golden Core stage disciple. 2 women and 1 man. This time, no elders accompanied them. Apparently, in the past elders always came along. Jin Ting, the disciple from the first peak, speaks curiously. I heard there weren't any disciples in the Ninth Peak previously. But now there's a disciple in the Ninth Peak. And he's a personal disciple, no less. Muzhu, the fairy from the second peak, turns to the third person. Curiously says, Sister Ao Longyu should know. Seems like the Ninth Peak's disciple. Also got into trouble before in the third peak's secret area. There was a disciple then. Ao Longyu walks along quietly and nods calmly. She too is surprised their peer became the Ninth Peak's personal disciple. It was unexpected. Supposedly, the Ninth Peak never had a personal disciple before. No one's ever lasted 10 years on the Ninth Peak. Not a single disciple has ever managed it. Not even her. 10 years sounds short to them. But on the Ninth Peak, 10 years can completely destroy someone. So for their junior brother to last 10 years on the Ninth Peak is honestly surprising. That's why they didn't need elders to come along this time. Because there's no need for the Ninth Peak's elder to welcome them now. It's said their junior brother has great composure. Back when he got his magical treasure, he was a real shock to everyone, though his talent was only average. But after all these years, the Ninth Peak must have given him enough resources to reach Golden Core stage.
If not,
He'd at least be at the peak of foundation establishment.
King Ting speaks up. The Ninth Peak probably doesn't focus much on cultivation level. Muzhu doesn't linger on this topic, and instead asks curiously, I remember the Ninth Peak has a near-divine spell. It's called the Seven-Colored Auspicious Cloud. If our junior brother knows it, maybe we could ask him to help us out and cast it. Seven-Colored Auspicious Cloud. The spell that brings good luck. King Ting seems unconvinced. It's said this spell demands an extremely high state of mind. Forget using it. Even just learning it is incredibly hard. Only some old seniors ever managed to learn it. Other people actually had the opposite result when they tried. That's why this technique was only left in the Ninth Peak in the end. Of all Kanglam Mountain, apparently only the Ninth Peak's elder can use it. That junior of the Ninth Peak isn't even that old, so there's no way he'd know it. Muzhu doesn't think it's possible either. He knows how hard that spell is. Very few people can learn it. Apparently, besides state of mind, you need other things too. It takes quite a lot of time. Few people would waste their time on this. If you spent enough time, learning it wouldn't be a big deal. But for most people, even with a lot of time spent, they still can't manage to learn it. So almost no one in Kunlun Mountain even tries. Seven-colored auspicious cloud. Not knowing it is normal. I was just saying, since everybody knows how hard it is, it's just, seeing as he's the only disciple of the Ninth Peak, he must have something special about him. You never know, he might know it, Muzhu says softly. But really, what matters for the seven-colored auspicious cloud isn't just state of mind, but your understanding of the clouds in the world. Such insight can't be forced. That's why almost nobody can master it. And their junior brother on the Ninth Peak is still young. So it's only normal that he doesn't know it. It's said the Ninth Peak's elder realized it by chance too. So if their junior brother can't use it, it means nothing. If he did, that'd be weird. Ao Longyu says calmly. There's no other meaning. Just being realistic. Otherwise, people keep thinking the seven-colored auspicious cloud belongs to the Ninth Peak, and that everyone on the Ninth Peak should know it. Not knowing it just means you're less talented. It's nothing personal. And honestly, the ninth peak's junior brother isn't especially gifted. He probably focuses on his basic cultivation. Spending a bunch of time training for seven-colored auspicious cloud just isn't wise. Jinting nods and says. Ao Longyu glances at her, but doesn't say any more. Speaking of which, I heard that if someone truly masters the seven-colored auspicious cloud, a rainbow will appear in the sky. Muzyu looks up and adds, just like that, stunningly beautiful. As he says this, Muzyu freezes for a moment. Suddenly, he says in shock, that's a rainbow. Did it rain today? Right then, Jinting and Ao Longyu also look at the sky. They see it too. The rainbow suddenly hanging in the clouds above. It's pretty much the same as a normal post-rain rainbow. If they hadn't just been discussing the seven-colored auspicious cloud, it wouldn't have felt special. But since they were just talking about mastering the seven-colored auspicious cloud, they can't help but notice this strange phenomenon. This one just appeared. It's a bit hard to accept at first. It must be a coincidence. Besides, that's a rainbow hanging over the ninth peak. Aside from the three of us on the ninth peak, there's only that senior uncle and that junior brother. That senior uncle has already comprehended it. That junior brother should be coming back to pick us up. It's impossible for anyone else to be cultivating here. Jinting analyzed the situation, then drew a conclusion. So it must be that a rainbow just happened to appear today. Yeah, that's definitely it. Muzyu smiled and replied. He felt he was just overthinking it. So what phenomenon will appear next? Longyu suddenly asked. Muzyu thought for a moment and answered. It seems that those who comprehend it will have a burst of multicolored light over their bodies, right? Ao Longyu pointed at the silhouette ahead and asked. At that moment, Muzyu and Jinting immediately looked over. Then they saw someone standing ahead. You're looking at the sky. A flash of seven-colored light flickers over your body. But it's just a fleeting moment, as if it was an illusion. No way. Did someone really comprehend the seven-colored auspicious cloud? That must have been a hallucination just now. Or maybe comprehending the auspicious cloud isn't accompanied by this kind of sign. That person is too young. They've only been cultivating for 30 or 40 years. Their cultivation is at the peak of foundation establishment. You snap back to your senses. You feel you have a new understanding of the auspicious cloud? Maybe you can try experimenting with plant eggs when you have time. It doesn't seem very useful. Right now you see three people standing ahead of you. One man and two women. One of the women looks like she knows Ao Longyu. You immediately remember. At this moment, there are no marks on Ao Longyu's face. His injury must be healed. As for what the others look like, they haven't changed one bit over the years. Their faces are as calm as ever. You haven't seen the other two before. But one thing's for sure. All three of them have high cultivation levels. And maybe it's just your imagination. But all three of them seem physically very strong. Greetings, senior brother and senior sister. Master sent me to pick you up. We're going to the Netherworld Cave. You remain neither arrogant nor servile. Your master sent you to pick people up, but didn't say who exactly. There are only three of us here. Thanks for your help, junior brother. Ao Longyu spoke up. Senior brother and senior sister, please follow me. Saying this, you lead the way ahead. You walk in the front. The others follow behind. Although this junior brother is only at the peak of foundation establishment, Ao Longyu and the other two are still guests after all. And the ones following behind, Jinting and Muzyu, both look like they want to say something but hold back. They did witness what happened just now, so they're eager to ask about it. Did someone really comprehend the auspicious cloud? Ao Longyu walked on with a calm face. He seemed unconcerned about anything, especially since he has no responsibilities on him right now. He doesn't have to bother about anything. Junior brother, do you know why we're here? Muzyu asked from the side. Did Master not tell you?
He just shook his head calmly.
You truly have no idea why these people want to come to the Netherworld Cave. It's not exactly a nice place. Staying too long isn't good for cultivation either. Even if they practice the Kunlun Heart Sutra, they can't avoid the side effects of the Netherworld Cave. If you lack enough resistance, you're likely to lose control and be ruined forever. We'll be staying at the entrance of the Netherworld Cave for a few months. So during this time, we might bother you, junior brother. Muzyu spoke up. You glanced at this senior sister, then shook your head and said, if you'll only be at the cave entrance, it won't be any trouble for me. living inside the netherworld cave. Master hasn't given any instructions. So usually we don't leave the cave? Even Ao Longyu was a little surprised this time. What kind of place is the netherworld cave? This junior brother has lived in there for a long time. Is it really possible to avoid going astray? Even with a strong mind, that's a bit much. Jinting and the others were also surprised. Could this junior brother already be trapped by obsession? Because what you said left them unsure how to respond. So for a moment they didn't know how to ask you about what just happened. Muziu actually wanted to ask about the auspicious cloud. Soon, you brought them to the entrance of the netherworld cave. Do senior brother and senior sister want to take a look inside? You asked if they wanted to trouble you to lead the way. Jinting replied, your talent is average, and your cultivation is low compared to theirs. But you are the personal disciple of the ninth peak. If you don't show respect here on the ninth peak, you're basically not looking to cultivate in the netherworld cave. You nodded and led the way ahead. For your first time entering the netherworld cave, it's best to set up some defense. Otherwise, you could be overwhelmed by the nether aura. You walk out in front, kindly reminding them. Ao Longyu and the others looked on and followed you into the netherworld cave. But as soon as they went in, they were a bit surprised. A thick nether aura rushed straight at them. They had a feeling, if they didn't have protection, they'd definitely be affected quite a bit. A place like this, let alone living here, even staying a little longer, would have quite an impact. But when they looked at you, they found it unbelievable. When they saw you, they noticed you had no protection at all when entering the cave. You just walked there in the nether aura. The nether aura couldn't affect you at all. It's like you merged into it, but at the same time were totally different from it, neither interfering with the other. This is a matter of state of mind. What level of mindset is needed to be able to do this? To ignore the effects of the nether aura. A heart as calm as still water. The highest good is like water, adapting to whatever shape. Neither Ao Longyu nor Jinting had ever heard anything more than rumors about ninth peak disciples having a strong mind. But they'd never seen such composure in person. Now that they've witnessed it, seeing is truly believing. For this junior brother to remain at ninth peak and have so many resources to train, it's definitely not without reason. If anyone else could have even half of what this junior brother has, they could surely remain on ninth peak too. What kind of star sign does this junior brother have to walk so casually through the nether cave? Jinting couldn't help but ask. You glanced at the three of them, then shook your head and said that it really has nothing to do with star signs. It's just a matter of habit. Jinting and the others didn't believe it. It's not like you can just get used to this nether aura. If you really could, then you must be connected to nether creatures somehow. Maybe from cultivating some nether art. But it's obvious to everyone that you practice the Kunlun Heart Sutra. There's no sign of you being under the nether aura's influence. It all comes down to steadying your mind. So you're not disturbed. You didn't care whether they believed you or not. After all, you just got used to it little by little. Strengthening your mind makes it easier to adapt. Then, you led the three of them to the entrance of the nether passage. It's still that same well. What connects to the well is the netherworld. But only after becoming an immortal can you look directly at it. You explained. Ao Long and the others nodded. They had no intention of checking the well. Only immortals can check it. They are still some distance away from becoming immortals, but they could still see it. Inside the netherworld cave, there was a small house. It really looked like someone lived there. Does this junior brother actually live inside? That's just too creepy. Once they had a general understanding of the netherworld cave, you stopped paying attention to those three. They only stayed outside the cave and came in from time to time. Once they left, you returned to the small room. Because there were people around, you decided to wait 2 days before advancing your nascent soul. 2 days passed in a flash. You were still sitting inside the netherworld cave. Those people really didn't enter the cave. It had no effect on you. As for why they came, you more or less understood. They came to temper their spiritual consciousness. All of them are strong body cultivators. 2 of them are cultivating related techniques. And Ao Long is of the Dragon Clan, so his body is naturally powerful. They got something from Mirror Lake, enough to allow them to use the netherworld aura to temper their nascent soul. but the furthest they can go is just past the cave entrance. As for how long, you don't know. But as long as it doesn't affect you, it's all good. After putting up a wooden sign at the cave entrance, you took out the creation pill. Today you plan to achieve nascent soul. After nascent soul, your strength is no longer weak. You can look for new places to sign in. Of course, it's impossible to leave Kunlun Mountain. It's too dangerous outside. Plus, your master definitely wouldn't let you leave. Speaking of which, you've already reached peak foundation establishment. It's highly likely your master will send you to a third-party secret realm. Every time you reach a new peak, your master always tries to help you break through. So the sooner you advance, the safer you'll be. What if you run into that person behind the scenes again? No one knows what could happen. With that thought, you swallowed the creation pill. Once the pill entered your mouth, you felt as if you had entered some mysterious gateway. Everything inside that gateway could answer your current doubts and remove any obstacles for you. In that moment, your cultivation ran wildly. All your spiritual consciousness condensed into one point, seeming to undergo a brand new transformation, like scattered sand starting to solidify, forming into a human shape. Boom! Once your consciousness had formed the human shape, your mind immediately began to expand. It was like your limited spiritual world started stretching into infinity. The vague parts began to clear up. Your originally peaceful mind, at this moment, became unbreakable. This is the power of the nascent soul. Although there were no changes in appearance, your spiritual consciousness surpassed its previous limits. Even if invaded by heart demons, you'd have enough buffer. It's as if you now have resilience. Even if your physical body is destroyed, your nascent soul won't vanish right away. Protect the nascent soul, and you'll have a chance to start over. This state lasted for a long time. You could feel that you were much stronger. Your power of 5 oxen was instantly promoted to 6 oxen. And it can keep going up. The heavenly steps technique also began to transform. This is what nascent soul means. If golden core means going from a child to a teenager, then nascent soul is like changing from a teen into an adult. After that comes divine transformation, tempering the nascent soul, communicating with the void, and finding the gateway to become immortal. Endure tribulation and become an immortal. But for now, you should keep cultivating. Reach nascent soul great perfection. Although you've gotten one step closer to the immortal path, the further you go, the harder it gets. As for the creation pill, you felt it was a bit of a waste. But you don't regret it. Real power only comes from being strong right now. Ao Long, being a dragon, cultivates extremely fast. But once targeted, he'll be in danger too. You fought that person before. If he starts suspecting and targets you, there won't be time to take the creation pill again. So you didn't think about it anymore. Now, what you need to do is keep cultivating and strive for divine transformation. But you want to sign in somewhere else now. How about that old tavern? You can bring back a good bottle of wine for your master. It's been 30 years. You're not sure if that tavern is still there. You came to the side of the plant egg, poured some spiritual liquid on it, and then walked out. Now that you've reached nascent soul, everything around you looks so much clearer, like going from ordinary resolution to high definition. But it doesn't change much else. You walked to the cave entrance and took down the wooden sign. It simply said, "Do not disturb." No need for it now. After all, you've already succeeded. You walked out. By then, it was already bright outside. Ao Long and the other two were drawing a formation together. It seemed to be for cultivation. You took a look and realized it was a nether god formation. It was kind of similar to your immovable nether king mantra, but completely different too. Formations and mantras are worlds apart. Of course, if you want to stay on the 9th peak. Even cultivating the immovable nether king mantra isn't enough, because you also cultivated the calming heart technique after acquiring the Kunlun Heart Sutra. And then the immovable bright king mantra. That's why it's easy for you to stay here. As for the others, if they can manage it, you don't know. Maybe seeing through 2 lives makes you more understanding. So it's easier for you? Junior brother is heading out. Dragonfly looked at you. You nodded. I won't bother you 3 senior brothers and sisters. With that, you turned and left. But you glanced a couple more times at the nether god formation. You were looking right at the array under Jinting's feet. It felt a bit off. Is there something wrong with the formation? Jinting looked down at the array at his feet and asked curiously. He felt it was possible. This junior brother was just curious about it. After all, the formation isn't simple. But he didn't ask whether the junior needed special care. That way they could stay here longer. You said nothing, just shook your head. Then you continued down the mountain, watching you leave. I'm a bit curious today. Is this junior brother curious about the formation? Ao Longyu didn't say anything. He continued drawing the formation. This junior brother seems to talk little and shows little expression. Apart from not being affected by the nether energy, he doesn't seem to have anything special. But the disciples of the ninth peak aren't known for their talent. Their cultivation is a bit lacking. It's normal to be less experienced. Maybe the previous rainbow light was really just a coincidence? There was never a chance to ask. If he doesn't know, it'll look like we're belittling him. Muzu shook his head and said nothing more. Not being gifted doesn't mean lacking experience. Ao Longyu said emotionlessly. He was stating a fact. No one else argued. They just continued working on the formation. Before the sun sets today, they'll be able to cultivate. These days they've been able to stay here long term. If they could use the nether energy to achieve golden core completion, and then break through to nascent soul, that'd be even better. It's pretty difficult though. As for the nether god formation, you think there are some issues, but those people are all geniuses. They should be able to notice it when the time comes. There's no need for you to get involved. Everyone minds their own business. Following the usual pace, you've arrived at the foot of Kunlun Mountain. This time, you're not in a hurry to go down the mountain. After all, good wine can only be bought in the afternoon. If you go early, it's just to look around and sign in while you're at it. Maybe check out what's there. Hopefully, you'll get something good. You're walking through the woods. And notice it's been 30 years since you last came down. The roads here have changed a bit, but not by much. Just halfway through, you notice a rabbit running toward you. A rabbit with cultivation at peak foundation establishment. But its aura is chaotic, probably because it's injured. You weren't planning to pay attention to it, but it suddenly appears in front of you and kneels just like a person. You look at the rabbit and frown. You notice a crack on its chest, as if it's being burned. Its wound is still pulsing right now. After you stop, it suddenly starts kowtowing and points to the other side of the woods, as if it wants to show you something. Since it's still early, you speak up. Lead the way. The rabbit shows a grateful look and kowtows again to thank you. Then it leads the way in front. Soon, you see in a certain valley, there's a woman lying down. From a distance, she appears to be dressed plainly. There's a glowing pearl beside her. A demon-suppressing pearl. It's not a powerful artifact. It's only effective against Foundation Establishment level demons. That female demon should be Foundation Establishment stage. She shouldn't be this weak at the later stage theoretically. But she's not dead yet. If she's suppressed by the pearl for too long, it'll cause significant harm. But the most dangerous part is probably the owner of the pearl. Looks like the rabbit wants you to take away the suppressing pearl. You walk up and examine the pearl. The owner hasn't shown up in a long time. That doesn't seem normal. You sense it and find that the pearl is actually fine. Right then, you sense an attack coming toward you. The rabbit starts squeaking and keeps tugging at your pants leg, as if it's warning you about something. You ignore it. You look toward the woods. A sword light flashes by. A sword flies straight toward you. Facing the sword, you simply raise your hand and flick your index finger lightly against its back. The sword is flicked away by your finger. Then a man lands in front of you. That man lands on the ground, and his sword lands beside him. Peak Foundation Establishment. The moment you see him, you know instantly, his level is about the same as yours. You didn't use any power beyond Peak Foundation Establishment, so he won't think you're hiding your cultivation. But whether he's a disciple of Kunlun Mountain, you can't tell. There are other people at the foot of Kunlun Mountain. That's not unusual. As long as they don't approach Kunlun Mountain, no one cares. But if they get closer, they'll realize Kunlun is known as the ancestor of all mountains. It's not just a name. This junior brother,